But I wanted to go ahead and get in there and ask some questions. I was like, hey, look, there's other questions people wanted to get into and ask and different shit like that. So I wanted to go around, see if anybody wanted to say anything. You got some questions for the young niggas?
How have / do you plan on combating misogynoir in the Black nerd community?
All right, so I'm gonna keep it a band, keep it a stack, keep it 100. Right, my brother actually had to break down what misogynoir was. Period. Right, because not that I wasn't aware that there's a great deal of misogyny that happens right in our community, in our culture. I just didn't know that we had named that shit by now. Like I had no clue. So like once I understood what it was, I was like, well, the way I want to combat it is definitely having female guests on, like especially having Black female guests on, giving as many opportunities as I would to like any of these niggas out here for sure, for women to have like an opportunity for a voice, because my whole podcast, my whole show is based on like, it's the well-spoken token. It's about being like that fringe character. It's about being that part. Like it's about those experiences, right? And nobody has those things on more lock than Black women, right? In terms of the misogyny situation, is that I want to make sure that like women have an opportunity to put that shit on blast whenever they fucking can, and give women an opportunity to know, like, women an opportunity to know, like, hey, these are the things you avoid, and on top of that, these are the things that you're looking for. And so that's really what I wanted to do, is give opportunities for me to listen and hear, get out, like, for other women's perspective on this type of situation. Like what type of experiences have you guys had, straight face to face, or excuse me, like voice to voice conversation type situation. That's always been my goal when it comes to like the misogyny, especially when like my own people and like the Black women that I choose to like lift up and put on platforms.
So
that's so
cool. I like that.
Yeah. No claps or anything like that. That's perfectly fine. We just doing what we supposed to do as fucking niggas. Like, as
why should I clap for that?
Yeah. This is normal shit. Nobody shit. Like, you should all be trying.
I will say,
don't
like,
give me a cookie or nothing for supporting women.
In this current landscape, like especially like in Black media in general, like a lot of Black femmes, like, you know, cis or otherwise, you know, the voices are getting drowned out by these what's the word I'm looking for? These over vocal like men or
machismo.
Yeah. It's a very masculine, testosterone driven space where like we're just looking for the opportunity to like make people look bad or make other people look bad to progress another person's platform or whatever, right? And I think that especially today, as people are like becoming more comfortable in the nerd space or becoming more comfortable in like you know, just any space in general, you're gonna get more like feminine voices over time. And I definitely think it's important for like, you know, women, femmes, other people who identify as such to, you know, speak their truth, to speak on their experiences in the space, so that they don't feel like, oh, this is just a place for niggas to just talk about nigga shit.
I love that question, by the way, because like a lot of the times it doesn't get addressed. A lot of dudes will, excuse me, not just dudes, but like a lot of creators will have like a Black female on and things to that degree. And then they're like, not necessarily looking for that perspective. They're not looking for that. They're trying to just, hey, look, you're a part of the space. You like these things. Let's keep it like, let's keep it within these like parameters, right? Like, let's like, don't get too deep into the way this shit is, because that's my audience. Like, don't fuck with my money.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of like covering their own ass when it comes to that situation, because you're kind of put in this box where you can't speak on these issues or problems that you're kind of having. And I never want to be that nigga. So like, please, like, absolutely, you hear episodes just like that shit was bullshit. Like that nigga, please get my ideas, fucking post it on my TikTok.
Honestly,
let a nigga know, because I want to know. Like, I tell you, you cheat on me, you can lie to me, but you got to talk to me at least. And so was there any other questions? I know Crimson to start, like,
Yeah, no. I mean, I do think I'm interested in knowing, like, when you were growing up, and I guess you guys mentioned you were watching Dragon Ball Z and all of that. So you've always kind of been like in the nerd life, kind of. So have you ever been othered by your experience?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
So because of the fact that I was into like fucking Dragon Ball Z anime as a general, because I hate Dragon Ball Z is the first thing that anybody goes to, but it was like a universal experience for a lot of niggas.
Yeah, it is for sure.
It's okay for all niggas.
It's a starter part. It's a starter pack for a reason.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so like for me, when I was into that type of shit, like I had a lot of cousins. I had a lot of like random kids in school be like, "Oh, nigga, you like Pokemon? Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. You
like Pokemon? Don't do that."
I do like That's what they call it. Pokemon. I don't know what the fuck
Pokemon trading cards.
Right.
That would be like the first thing that they would go to. There'd be a lot of like random moments where I'd be sitting around, like got a Dragon Ball Z picture in my binder or some random shit, or like
as you do.
You get it printed off. You pay a nigga like $1.25 to like draw you a picture, and you just stick that shit.
Yep.
Not $1.25.
Yeah. Hey, look, you try to get it out here.
Right. You'll do 4 hours worth of work for me.
Yeah, for $1.25. Yeah, trying to like they just want to buy some snacks from this fucking snack bar. They want to go to the lunchroom.
The Bosco stand.
Right.
Right. But like in those experiences, right, I had a lot of people just run up on me, just be like, "Hey, nigga, like that's just for white kids," or like that's just for like, "Hey, that's for kids, like literal children, bro. Like you got to grow up." And I had a lot of issues with that when I was younger, and as I got older, I was like, "Well, who in the fuck in your life was telling you that these things were not okay? Like, who was like, was it your father? Was it the lack of the father? What the fuck was happening that you looked at me?" But I definitely have had that experience, and it was interesting trying to get used to it. When I wasn't used to it, when I wasn't like aware, it did make me feel ashamed of having these interests. It did make me feel like maybe I wasn't black enough, or maybe I wasn't like participating in the culture the right way. And then I still love hip hop. Like Snoop Dogg has been like one of my like third word out of my goddamn mouth with Snoop Dogg. Like so like it's a situation where like, yes, I'm going through this. People are still calling me boy at the lunchroom. Like I'm still experiencing all this the same nigga shit you are. Is just I like other things.
Yeah. I like with me, my older male cousins is kind of the reason why I'm into anime. Like we all watch Dragon Ball Z together, but for me, it like went beyond that. And I remember when Naruto came out, I started reading it in Shonen Jump, and then the anime came out, and like all my boy cousins who were within like a 3-year age gap between me, like that's what we were all watching. But then at a certain point, they left it alone, and I didn't, and it's like, now I'm the 21-year-old who's a weirdo who still watches anime.
Suddenly I'm you niggas.
I was saying that era was kind of like what I was doing too. It was just like I was watching Sailor Moon, and I had to watch Dragon Ball Z before Sailor Moon, I guess, because
it was more popular. I think
I came out first on that run, and then I was just watching them both for the most part until Toonami really solidified their segment towards the middle of the day. And then once they did that, then I was really watching. I was watching everything. I was watching I was watching fucking Tenchi Muyo. I was watching I was watching Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. They was riding that shit really hard.
They were. And I mean, it makes sense. They're both very approachable, enjoyable series. Like,
for sure. That was literally the only thing I was watching. And then Pokemon came out. And then that's when I was like,
which was weird that everybody decided to collectively be on that. And I'm like, but Megabots exist and Digimon.
Digimon was cool too. I was gonna say, wait, Digimon was cool too. I liked both Digimon and Pokemon, if you're gonna be real. But
Digimon's a better story.
Hard on Digimon until they could actually turn into the Digimon themselves.
Frontier, that was my shit.
Yeah. That season, okay, y'all got me.
Yo, y'all had me. And I attribute that, right, because the poor black experience, right, is that like sometimes you had cable and sometimes
yes, you didn't. Yeah.
And so if you didn't have cable, right, you only had access to probably like 3 or 4 channels, and at least one of them, right, because a lot of times WB, Fox, for Texas Central regions, right, we had WB and Fox. Those things were free, which meant that Saturday morning cartoons were wide open. There were tons of like Digimon and Fighting Foodons, One Piece when it was on 4Kids. Yeah, access immediately whether you had cable or not. And I feel like that was a big thing for a lot of people with their anime experience was like, what region were you in? Like what TV shows? Like
absolutely.
Like, that midday run, like that after school run of TV, or that Saturday. Yeah, like that kind of thing formulated, or like I was recently talking about how like I'm making a video about like how curation plays like a big part in that. It's like how they like kind of like, oh well, let's set this right after this, like we play Dragon Ball Z, and then immediately after there's Sailor Moon, and then after that,
right, like, that's how they reeled me
they reel you in, because that's like that was the big thing for us. Like TV was the parent for a lot of people. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, no, like you grew up with parents that had to work. Like motherfuckers get out and do it. So like whether they were working nights or early mornings, things like that, you had to.
Yeah, they weren't around during the afternoon at the end of the day.
I'm gonna let Digimon raise me for a quick second, real quick.
You let emotional stability. Like this is where you learn like a lot of your shit just straight up from TV and experiences and shit. So I was always very into like the daytime run of like anime and TV and shit. That was kind of like a huge thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yo, bro, did you ever get like? Of course, you got othered, right? But do you have any experiences that like stick out in your brain?
Nigga, we grew up together.
I'm saying like we had.
I will say that like yeah, of course I got othered in that respect. I think that everybody was into the same shit up until a point. Like after a certain point, it was like all right, I'm gonna move on to do this or whatever. And as a male, the other thing is like sports or like athletics or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And
we're selling drugs.
Or selling drugs. Or you can do both. A lot of my favorite drug dealers are anime fans.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it's called duality.
Right. But I think that at like, especially in that early 2000s, I don't think like being able to be into multiple things at once became like popular until like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of us dealt with that othering situation for so long. Like it continued into a good chunk of our adult lives.
Adulthood. Yeah. That's why like sometimes when I see the memes where they're like, it's not because you liked anime, it's because you growled and Naruto run and I'm like, but sometimes it wasn't that. Like people would legit bother you just for like wearing if you had the capability of getting like anime merch, they would give you that. And it's like, what the fuck?
In my personal opinion, I don't think any girl that I've ever dealt with, like in it, like not girl, but whatever, any person that I've like dealt with in a serious capacity did not give a fuck that I was in an anime, but they were more so worried that I had like poor hygiene. And like once they realized like, oh, I'm fine, I learned how to deal with my shit, because like there's certain stigmas that are attached to certain entertainment, and
I
get it. The metal community and the weed community share the
for sure
the crusty vibe.
Right.
Can I take a break to grab some water real quick?
No, go for it. Please do.
Yeah.
Thank you. You had to ask. You
could just cut. Yeah, you good.
Like, you could have just got up. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I got a notification that I was like on 20%. And I was like, shit, I gotta charge my phone.
No, do you
on your phone right now?
You gotta do.
Yeah.
That's what's
Mhm.
up. Like, yo, you got a classy ass phone because like dead ass like
Yeah.
that's why we don't do nothing live.
Fuck live. We're not doing shit live.
Too much to get into.
Nobody wants to see you eat a rotisserie chicken.
Low key, a lot of the mukbang shit is obviously some weird fetish feederism shit.
I'll never understand. I'll never understand. Hey, no, I'll support all kinks, but what's going on with this shit, nigga? Why you want to feed them so bad?
I don't know. I don't believe in not kink shaming because, firstly, a lot of people use that out of turn. They're like, "Oh, don't kink shame me." Me saying I don't like this and I don't understand it is not kink shaming.
I agree.
Me saying, "Oh, well, since you like to do this as an adult, that's why you got raped at 3 years old. And if anything else bad happens to you, that's because you're a piece of shit because you like this specific kink."
Right.
That's kink shaming. And a lot of people don't fucking understand that.
Right. Me not having like 100, not being 100% on the shit that you get off to is not kink shaming.
It's not kink shaming. And I don't know why people, I don't know if it started off as a joke that people didn't understand or something like that.
If you want my honest opinion, I think that people got excited at the idea of knowing some shit.
I think that's what it was. The woke Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not one of them niggas because I'm like, I want everybody to feel as connected and as quote woke as they possibly can. But like, you know, we got niggas that are okay with people pissing on child raccoon people. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Whose kink is that?
What?
It's just in general, like if you just look on the internet, you got niggas that are like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm a furry and I'm also like into age play. And I'm like, bro, no, that's not okay. The fuck? But that's still kink shaming, no matter how you fucking like box.
Yeah, no, like
like
ABDL and shit, and it's like, okay, you participate in age play as some kind of like therapy, but then you get fucked pretending to be a 2-year-old. That's weird.
Not happening.
And I don't think that's healthy, and I have an issue with it. And if somebody wants to fight me about it, they can square up, and I know they're not. No, so, like, why is this even a conversation that's being had?
Right. It's so weird. It's so weird. And I don't even like throwing that word around like that, but it's like, bro, if you're into that, no, that's legitimately weird. And people have the right to question you for it.
Yeah, no, you should press niggas like that. It's like, hey, look.
Well, and then it's like, what's even weirder is that they feel like that they're based in what they're doing. And it's like, there are things that I do that are not even that obscure that I wouldn't put out in the public just because it's like, firstly, that's not anybody's business. Right. First and foremost, it's not anybody's business. If you're participating in an act and you're making it known to the general public, you can't get upset about the general public's opinion on it.
Right. I'm not gonna be out here pissing on dolls and somebody come out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, bro, I don't really fuck with you pissing on these dolls." And be like, "Well, you guys just don't understand me, and that's the problem. You guys are shaming me.
The problem, you're not opening your mind enough. You guys are fucking closed-minded. You sorry bitches."
No, you shouldn't piss on dolls.
The way that people say kink shaming is that like people are shaming hair pulling and slapping and wearing leather and hitting each other consensually. No one's shaming that. We're shaming you wearing a diaper, pissing and shitting.
No, I'm shaming
not using words and pretending to be a baby while having your orifices rearranged.
Not really.
Yeah, I'm gonna shame that.
I'm shaming that.
No,
I'm shaming that.
You shouldn't do that. You should stop.
You should quit.
I'm shaming that, and I'm calling Chris Hansen. Y'all are both going to jail.
You're going under jail.
Right. No. Go to jail.
No, throw them in the chokey, honestly.
And for anybody with these thoughts, these urges, these kind of kinks, to that degree, there are ways to exercise them more healthfully. And on top of that, like
not at the expense of others.
Unpack that.
if you choose.
Yeah, I don't even like seeing motherfuckers on leashes in public outside of a kink event, to be perfectly honest.
In public,
I don't want to see you dragging your slave in Whole Foods. I don't want to see that.
Right, that's right, because like the public didn't consent to that. So
Right.
The public didn't consent to that.
No, there are some things for sure. Like, hey, look, no, we shouldn't shame you for being into this. No, we shouldn't shame you for having these thoughts. And then there are other things where it's like, hey, wait a minute. Like, what is up with this? Like, you want to unpack?
I mean, yeah, you want to unpack that. Not only that, like, as mainstream as kink has become, there's definitely some kind of an event that you can get your exhibitionist fetish out on.
Yes.
That you don't need to go to the grocery store. And that's all that I'm saying.
You know?
Yeah. Like, do you really need a live audience? And if that's the case, there are places that you can go. And if you have to travel for that, so be it. I don't fucking get it.
There's a perfectly fine elevator that you can do your thing in right over there. You can verify there's no children around, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm skipping. So I just want to make sure that before I like move on or anything like that, any other questions? I never want to like stop people off. You can also save them for your show because we will do your show, no motherfucking problem.
Yeah, like, let's do it separately.
You remember that episode of Boondocks where he was like, never mind, I'm not doing that.
No, what?
There was an episode where Tom was like, we're very excited to see. Anyway.
Yes.
Very.
You know what? Speaking of Boondocks, like, I did not see the Tyler Perry episode when it aired originally.
Oh, my favorite.
And I only heard about it being like banned. And I finally watched it because it's on HBO. It was not that good.
It's fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It was funny.
So what else?
When that nigga was all like, "Look, man,
it was funny, but it could have been better. It could have been better written.
Yeah. I think
like a lot of people talk shit because it was 4 seasons or was it 3 seasons?
It was 4.
4 seasons. The fourth one had no Aaron Magruder.
I think only the first 2 are good because the third one started off with that kickball shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ass. I ain't like that shit.
Yeah. Just for metrics and shit, if you want to just appeal to the right audience, no matter what, putting the Boondocks in your actual like interest and shit, we'll always put you in the right audience. But
yes, we need to have a Boondocks episode.
I don't even like anything past season 2, but
that's the wild thing. I think that's an interesting topic amongst like the blurred community, blurred cultures and stuff like that. Is that
because everybody, all of us niggas like the fucking Boondocks.
Yes,
like,
we all
like it.
But what I'll say
is, some of us don't like it for the right reasons.
Exactly, and that's what I'll say, is that like there are definitely individuals, and we'll mostly say they're pale, that don't necessarily like the Boondocks for the right reasons, or think they like it for the right reasons, but when they approach someone black about the situation or the things that they're laughing at or why they're laughing, they find out.
But there's niggas that don't like it for the right reasons too, because I've seen many of posts and statuses in blurred communities where it's like, there's no way that Boondocks can be successful the way that it was back then because people are way too sensitive now. And I'm like, do y'all not understand what satire and like exposing an issue was? It's like,
yeah, right, because they were making fun of y'all niggas. It wasn't because they actually felt like that. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, it's like if you are a grown ass man and you relate to Riley, that's a fucking issue, my dude.
Now, granted, never mind. I'm not even.
No, go ahead.
I have been recently struggling, and this is not going to the episode, but I have been recently struggling with so like Riley and Gangstalicious, right?
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the entire series because it's like Riley is struggling with his sexuality and how he views men and the people that he looks up to, because the men that he looks up to always end up turning out to like sucking dick, right? And like a lot of my favorite people like that I've always looked up to, and I've always been like, oh man, if I was gonna do anything, I'd do it like that. have turned out to be grade A dick suckers. And I'm like, woo!
Oh,
I am a cisgendered heterosexual man with no qualms about homosexuality. But what do I do with this?
This nigga said,
You just take it, and that's all you do, and you learn from it. There's nothing more than that.
You just gotta take it.
Let's unpack the situation because I found this very interesting about my brother. And on top of that, like
every single one of these niggas, man.
So who are these niggas? Who are the niggas in question?
Let's use one in question. Gerard Carmichael. Gerard Carmichael.
Dog. I looked up that.
Who is Gerard Carmichael?
Gerard Carmichael. He had the Carmichael show on was it TBS? Either way, he had a sitcom, right? He also has wrote for a lot of things. But essentially, if you don't know who he is, just imagine a skinny black nigga with a very like dry sense of humor.
Well, of course he's gay. I'm like, how did I not know?
I mean, that makes sense.
Always zesty, been zesty.
Really dry.
Zesty.
I love that word.
It's not even like it's not even that I care that you're gay. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I just wish you would have put that in your art earlier so we could understand.
But you have to understand the black plight with homosexuality and how inevitably homophobic the black community is, which is really weird. And it's like it's really fucked up because if we go look at like African villages now and even back then before the transatlantic slave trade, there was a lot of like gay shit going on, but it wasn't defined as gay. And sometimes it was gay, but it was all okay and it wasn't an issue.
I will say that queerness and homosexuality has existed in all facets of life since the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
The Bible wouldn't even talk about sodomy if it wasn't a thing.
If it wasn't a thing, if it wasn't that relevant.
Music directors, you're talking about like Fire Boys. There's a lot of like don't ask, don't tell vibes that go with a lot.
So first and foremost, and it's so layered that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, as an active duty, as an active duty military dude, right? Like, I understand casual homosexuality more than like most niggas, right? If you on a boat with niggas for so long and you just ain't heard a compliment in months, nigga ain't heard, oh, you losing weight in forever. Or, all right, I see you, nigga, you doing whatever, you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear it from even your homeboy. Like, hey, nigga, I see you. Like, I appreciate you, bro. Right? As long as you being honest, I don't give a fuck. And I think that hiding that aspect of your life away from people for so long, especially after like thinking like, oh, you one of the bravest niggas in the world. You done put all these issues on Front Street, but you can't tell niggas you gay. Nigga, I don't give a fuck that you gay.
Do you understand that is literally like a safety risk they're taking when they do that?
I agree. I do. I definitely.
And as you as a straight cis man, have you made closeted gay men feel safe to do that around?
I make a point to make all my fucking closeted homies feel safe.
And this is where I'm not trying to like, this is a wonderful conversation, so I'm not gonna like just, oh yeah, my brother, blah 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 blah. But I will say this, like he isn't lying. It is a situation where we've had multiple friends that have come out to us, right? And I love the fact that we can exude that vibe and just like, hey, like you can talk to us, it's no problem. Because like I've already told you, like we moved to Massachusetts, I've had this crazy life. Like I've already talked to you about all this stuff.
Fucking dog jerkers.
You should feel comfortable. You should feel comfortable. No problem, right? But I completely understand that that's not the case for the majority.
Right.
A lot of people don't have these individuals in their lives that they can just be open with or just like have these talks. So like absolutely Gerard Carmichael should and has every excuse in the world to have not revealed this, have revealed this to anyone for a very long time, especially as a black male creator or a black male producer of like shows that make money. And so I get it, like absolutely. But I also know where my brother's coming from in the situation. It was like, I idolize you. I've always considered you a person that's been able to like give every like,
always told it how it is.
It seemed like you've been giving us everything from the jump. And then to find out it's like, oh wow, you're not. Like there is a degree for me of like, oh, okay, like as a fan, not a betrayal, right? But a degree of confusion. I think that the situation there is just like, oh well, I was a little weird because like you've always kind of like showed this persona, not just persona,
right?
But like
you've always been able to be fearless in these
these certain levels of confidence. And so
I think that like with confidence though, that it's a whole nother thing with that. And unfortunately it's not even only like a black community situation, because we have white conservatives that don't like, gay people. Right. And it's like you are putting yourself in an immense open state for a lot to happen to you when you do that. And it's like, for me, when I was younger, I knew the brat was gay. I didn't even know what gay was, but I knew that the brat was gay.
The brat was definitely different.
And she just got married to another woman and came out like maybe 2 years ago. And like it's unfortunate that she felt the need to be. And then I feel like another thing, like within the black community, like even with Raven Simone, she's like, well, I just like people. It's like, well, there's also a word for that, and it's called pansexual. And because you're fucking light skinned with your misspelled name, because you want to talk about Watermelon Drea, but you have an accent egu over your fucking E, which means your name should be Raven Simone and not Simone, while you're talking about ghetto name. You are living in this life of an acceptable Negro the same way that Bill Cosby is, the same way that Will Smith was, and now everybody hates him all of a sudden because he put hands on Chris Rock.
Granted,
we were just talking
understood. Yeah, we was just talking about that. Granted, I've always disliked Will Smith, but that's beside the point.
Oh,
and that's fine.
This is what it is. A Will Smith.
It's not even against him. I've always appreciated emotional honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you are like, you don't have to be like honest with your words or your actions, but the place that it's coming from has to be honest. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter what, it has to be honest, right? So,
but some people put themselves in roles and places where they have to do a certain, and that goes back to the conversation that we were having earlier about personas.
Right. And I'm
not saying that it's okay. But within the instance of somebody coming out with their sexuality, they are putting themselves in danger to be fired, to be blacklisted, or even if the company that they work for is going to keep them because they don't want to look bigoted.
Yeah. There's a ton of
Rando has more of a reason to come up, and fucking Michael Chaplin, whatever the fuck that motherfucker name was, who shot John Lennon was.
Oh yeah,
can't think of it right now.
John Lennon.
No, I
John Lennon.
It was crazy. That's my favorite book. But
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye is my shit.
Yeah, that nigga is actually a Catcher fan, and I'm not. I am not.
I'm glad.
Mark Jacob Chaplin. Is that it?
There's a
fucking MSI song about it, and I'm so mad that I can't remember this motherfucker's name. But go ahead.
What actually kills me is like I feel like there's so few brave people in this world, like that are willing to like take everything head on and be like, you know what, fuck it, I don't care what you think. And I think that that's such an important thing for young black men, women, people in general to see. You know what I mean? I look up is a strong word because fuck a hero, but fucking I look up to Gerard because of his honesty. I looked up to Isaiah Rashad because of his honesty. And to find out like, wow, you kept this from so many people who could have benefited from your story for so long. You know what I mean? I had to find out Isaiah Rashad was gay, like not gay, but like at least bisexual.
Yeah.
From seeing him sucking dick on Twitter. And that's a terrible way to find out that a nigga is bisexual.
No, yeah, because why are you violating somebody's like privacy like that?
Right. And so it's like a situation of like, I was one, this wasn't how you intended for any of this to come out. Right. Two, I'm voraciously surprised, right? And I understand that you've cultivated a brand, you've cultivated a name and an image like over time, because that's just how you have to be as an artist. Like when you're putting out content, things like that, you have to put up like a brand. And so for this to come out in that way, there was a lot of mixed feelings about that. Definitely a huge, and what I love about that is that Isaiah Rashad had a lot of people come out and was like, so what, nigga? Like, he's gay. That's cool. It's no problem.
On one hand, I'm totally supportive of like everybody being like, oh, so the fuck what? Give a fuck if you're gay, blah, 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 right? But it's also like, how many of you guys are flocking to this because now you feel like you identify to the story?
Yeah.
You know, and I have no problem.
I don't know. I think the best bet is for us to dismantle that uncomfortability where people feel the need to be shrouded in secrecy to begin with.
Certainly.
Right. Let the homies be what they
Absolutely.
are.
And that's I wish that we would unpack more. And I find that it's yes, absolutely awful, terrible situation that happened to Isaiah Rashad. Revenge porn should never be used in that way.
That's different than a revenge porn. You got me sucking dick and getting my dick sucked.
Yeah.
Two different situations.
Showtime.
Right. I'm getting slobbed by two Dominican niggas out of nowhere. What the fuck?
It was
a demon time at that point.
Right. No, you're doing freaky freak man shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. And so I absolutely believe that in the perfect circumstances, not even the perfect circumstances, maybe in the next 5 years that we can get to the point.
We're not gonna give a fuck.
Yeah, where people can start having these open conversations and things to that degree, right?
Like even when Frank Ocean came out, because I was in boot camp when Frank Ocean came out, and when I got out, niggas was all like, "Hey, did you hear about Frank?" I'm like, "Nigga, how you know I was a Frank fan? What about Frank?" Like, yeah,
that was like 2012, like 2011.
Yeah.
He came out and I was like, and right when that shit happened, I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
And then what's so funny is like Tyler Creator was like, oh, I knew he was gay because he liked whatever Pop-Tart, and then he came out. That shit was so funny. Like a couple of years ago.
Right. And even with Tyler, like, you know, Tyler came out as like, I don't know what the fuck he is, and it doesn't.
It's bisexual, but specifically a bisexual that only fucks white men, which of course he would be because it's Tyler the Creator. Like it makes sense, as bad as that sounds. Like,
but niggas gonna fuck with this.
I can imagine that Tyler Creator was one of those, you know, weird. And not to say weird in a bad way, but one of those, I'll say misunderstood in the same way that I felt misunderstood around my black person, where it's like, well, this group of people likes me and find me attractive and I don't have to mask.
There's no need to fight it because like, I know these people are going to accept me for who I am.
For real.
Because white people go for whatever.
They don't have rules. White people don't have rules.
Hey, look, motherfuckers have been doing crazy shit in the white community for a very long time.
Very long time.
I just hate when I have to find out that you're into what you're into by example.
Yeah. Somebody getting exposed in some messy shit.
Like, okay.
Not finding him in the act.
Because it wasn't even like this nigga was sucking dick like this was his first time, which would be different. There was no gun in the fucking video. Like, no, you were chilling. You wanted.
This man was just mad, vibing in a fucking hotel room. Two Puerto Rican, Dominican looking niggas, and they were just like,
enjoying your life. And by all means,
that's fine.
That's nice. Wow, that must be nice. Good for you. But I'm also like, you know,
exactly. And so, what I love about this situation is like being able to, like, when I talked to my brother about this, it was that I knew that it wasn't coming from a place of like homophobia. I knew that it wasn't coming from a place of like of having an issue with the fact of his actions, right? It was never like a problem with him being gay or
Suck
him
as much dick as you want to, my nigga.
suck dick, man. That's fantastic. Like as a man who's had whole handfuls of dick and balls, like it's not a problem for me in the
I ain't
slightest.
held no handfuls, but I see.
No, absolutely not. But hey, look, I know, I've been there. I've read your diary, nigga, so I know. Like,
what a hoe.
So I absolutely know like where this is, like where the confusion things are coming from. But I like the fact that Miss Ferris, like you challenge the thought process, right? That it's something that does need to happen a lot more often. Is that like, yes, you can feel uncomfortable, absolutely, but let's have a discussion about why you feel uncomfortable,
or even why you feel the need to hide it.
Exactly. And so, and when you were saying like we need to be in a place where we can have these open dialogues, I'm like, absolutely, because it as a people, as a generation, in some cases, we have all had some forms of trauma that we are absolutely not okay with dealing with. But society as a whole has become even more accepting of these traumas. So it's almost a situation where like, damn, well, do I wait until this is a situation where we can all talk about it, or do I become the change and like become the person that like has like these conversations that have to be made?
And on top of becoming,
and that's scary though, and not everybody wants to be a fucking martyr or catalyst, and I don't think that everybody necessarily needs to do that. But I also feel like if you have the platform to do so, is that a cat?
He's got too many fucking cats. But anyway.
Yes, it is. Yes,
you got a gang of them niggas.
I am a black male with fucking cats. Yes, it is.
Hi, and that cat is so cute.
It's so cute.
Fuck Smokey.
This is my man.
Of course, his name is Smokey.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's just gonna chill on the couch like that. Dead ass. Like that's Smokey's vibe. But I'm a nigga with cats. Like we've always grown
vibe
in a culture where we're like, fuck cats. Cats are nasty.
Niggas do hate cats.
I know that.
Hate cats, yo.
Yeah, niggas hate cats.
And it's wild because my girl was just like, who's also white, by the way. My girl who's just, I always have to kind of put that out there. My audience knows my girl's white. It's very true, but I let people know. It's like, yes, I am advocating for blackness, and I do have a white girlfriend. It just happens. Like,
Enjoy that fight. Enjoy that.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
it is. Yeah,
you have a fight for your life, nigga.
I didn't choose her because she's white. I chose her because we can chill and smoke weed together. That was like kind of the vibe. I was like, oh yeah, you just down to hang out? We'll bet. Yeah.
Honestly, I have cats too.
I'm not mad.
Oh shit, yo, that's a big thing because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've met a lot of women, black women especially, who are just like not about it. So like
a lot of black women hate cats.
Yeah. So we've talked about cats and dogs and shit like that. I love that. What the fuck was? Oh goddamn! Now I'm pulling a fucking Virgil over here. Like nigga can't remember.
Me. I did it one time, and it's just me now.
And it's your thing.
It's a very different.
This is what Virgil
We
does.
got to ask, where does well-spoken token come from? Like,
well-spoken token actually came from a Childish Gambino bar. He has a song called Backpackers, right? And there's a bar in there that's the well-spoken token that's not heard, the only white rapper that's allowed to say the N-word. And I thought that shit was so fly. I thought that was really cool. I was like, well-spoken token, because I knew exactly what the fuck he meant. I've been called well-spoken my entire fucking life. I was like, oh,
like token black dude, basically.
Exactly. I have a lot of white friends. It was just a part of like the kind of the experience, like having read fuck tons of books and not necessarily being into sports kind of put me in that space immediately. Right. And when I started getting into rock music and Linkin Park and different shit, like as I started kind of branching off, it became more so a part of my identity. The reason why I didn't do all those quizzes and shit my brother did right over the time was because my identity was pretty easily defined by all of my white. So from the time that I was probably like 13 to the time that I was like 23, right? I was very much that was a big part of my identity. Every time I got around somebody, I was trying to make some kind of black joke. every time. Like that was my general form of comedy. It was just kind of where I had settled. This was I'm the only black kid in theater. Like I'm on stage. Like that, everybody knows me as that nigga that does all that white shit. So, and so like it's a small town, so you can very much easily get known. So it became a situation where I was a big fish in a small pond because I was the only niggas that was participating in these things. So obviously in a theater troupe, it's like, oh well, we can do a lot more plays because we have a black like we have
the one black guy.
Yeah,
let's do
he keeps saying it's like I wasn't the year right behind him.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but were you participating?
Yes,
I was very anti-token. But
that nigga was he was anti-token. He was still participating in all the white shit.
Yeah, which is a part of the dynamic in and of itself. Like you could definitely say like, oh, well, that's a form of tokenism in and of itself. You know,
yeah,
like this nigga was more willing to
fall into that role and be okay with it.
Right.
I was like, oh, this was not doing anything bad for my press. This was not having any negative
connotation.
Right. I wasn't already hanging out with the niggas anyway. So like anyway, and then the niggas that I was cool with, they were very much okay with the fact that I was all into the white shit. Right. It was never like a problem for them.
But in the same vein, like being the anti version of that. You know what I'm saying? And part of that is like, I'm not trying to fall into this nigga's shadow.
Absolutely.
Blah, shit.
Yeah. He went the opposite way because we were a year behind in school. So absolutely, like my brother had to come up with his own identity. So he was doing things very differently. Like, rather than shucking and jiving for the motherfuckers and giving them every ounce of like, oh shit, I'm a nigga. Like, so my parents are fucking poor. Like I'm broke and black. Like,
right.
That's my thing.
But even
like you were shucking and jiving though.
Oh no, I was definitely
shucking and jiving is the word, but yeah. But even doing the opposite of shucking and jiving is shucking and jiving.
Yeah. That's wild. It's
you're right.
Being so far out of the norm in that situation also is acknowledging that. Like it's kind of wild that there was like there's no way out of this. So there's like
no matter what you do, you're going to be performing, and that's just the black experience.
Either way it goes.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was kind of the experience there when it came to like that situation.
And what originally, like when the nigga was trying to create the brand and shit, I was like, nigga, you sure you want to do this shit, nigga? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well-spoken token. But it's more so a misnomer than it is fucking.
Because I'll mumble like a motherfucker.
A title. I don't know. I like it, and I think that I caught on to the joke without having that explanation, just from hearing your content and where you were about. That. It makes sense.
It's more so saying fuck it. You know what I mean? Like fuck that.
Yeah.
Subscribing to that fucking mentality, et cetera, et cetera. Be who the fuck you
are. Because even when you're being your authentic self to certain parts of the Black community, you're still being performative in a way.
Yes, exactly. And so like when it comes to this type of stuff, I will absolutely lean into it because of the fact that like, I chose the well-spoken token as my name. And I like having this like slight bit of opposition. Like there's a degree of people that were
it's
like
cool.
Have people come after you because of the name?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, those tokens.
Oh for sure.
You put it up there as your brand. Yeah.
There's some weird albino nigga on Facebook that came out of nowhere. That was like, "Don't be a token." I was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Nigga, you got albinism. You have white privilege. Shut up.
You can be a nigga when you feel like it. Like the fuck.
much love to that nigga because I know his experience was hard no matter what. And for
it has to be hard.
Of course.
For him, of course, that nigga is militant. Like, why wouldn't he be militant?
That's the only option you had, you know?
Yeah, it's like because if you don't show up and you represent your shit loud and proud, right? Then you're going to get lumped into niggas that pass. You're going to get lumped into that white situation. And unfortunately, your experience is still that of a nigga. I say unfortunately, but like, some people really benefited off of that like nigga treatment. It sucks, it was awful, but like niggas are eating. Like
they're eating now. Niggas are eating now.
They're eating.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think in situations where there are, especially because obviously the experience between like, Black cis males and others are not the same, where cis male thrown into suburbia for whatever reason, if white people have this expectation of you, and even though you aren't behaving that way, they are still projecting that kind of stereotypical Black behavior upon you. I feel like that's a very shitty situation, where I would say that, I mean, it's not necessarily a privilege that Black women have, but we do have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah. You get to at least say like, oh, I'm a woman, so I get to subscribe to different like rules by society. Not better rules by any means. They're not
not better.
But it wasn't always. What I'll say is, it wasn't always like that. It was like, well, excuse me. Here I am as a male talking to three women of color. That was like, yeah, it wasn't always like that. Yeah, of course, it wasn't always like that. Like for Black nerds, it was also the same situation. Like, we are very in right now. Like right now, as a culture and community, like being Black and nerdy is mad in. And so I see a lot of people trying to capitalize on that. And what I'm with like Black women, right, is that like you guys hit so much of a wall when it comes to trying to profit off that Blackness. Like, and I say so much of a wall because like there are mad famous Black women that are absolutely able to kind of eat off that. Like, look at Jada.
Yeah. But they have to subscribe to a very specific set of rules to eat on the grand scale.
Yeah. And so I was going to ask, I was like, how do you guys deal with that? Like, it's like the fact that there is a role that a lot of people want to put you in, and they're looking for this thing out of you, and you could definitely eat off that. Right. Like, that takes a lot of courage, a lot of like mental fortitude to just be like, no, I'm going to put that out there. Like, how do you ladies get to that point where it's just like, I'm just going to go and speak my truth all the time?
I don't have to be sassy.
I think we thought about it too hard, to be honest. Yeah. If anything, we as a collective are like, we observe these people being a certain type of way, and instead of emulating it, we're just like, oh, look what they're doing. That's weird. Okay. And we come together and just do our own thing. Like, I don't think we even attempt to curate a different, I guess, persona or look before we even start creating things. It's just like, it's like we are who we are, and we get on the mic and
we about to make Ultron, goddammit. Like,
right. We're just about to say whatever the fuck we feel. Like, we're not trying, because we see how people are in the community, and it's just weird. And I don't even want to say like, just on a regular day-to-day. It's about when you see how it's not enough. It's not enough for people to just be Black and female for me to tune in and it's not enough.
Okay.
Be like, oh, you're a blurred, and you're like, and you like all these things. It's just not like, who are you when as a whole, as a person.
Become where you came from.
Right.
Especially in this community, you see so much shit happening. It's so important for people to feel comfortable and to feel comfortable in all facets of life, right? And you can be whoever you are. And I think that's what's so cool about cosplay and like the nerd, culture as itself. There's something for everybody. So it's like in whatever communities you're in, you want to be comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. So to see people who aren't making spaces comfortable for other people, it's like, you're not even thinking, I'm gonna try to not be like them. You already know that's not you. That's not who you are. I think it's more about being authentic no matter what we're trying to make.
For sure.
True. Okay. I feel that 1,000%. Right. So in your content creation, right, as you guys are going through, you obviously get on, you talk about what you want to, right? You put out things out there. Is there any type of like curation that goes into that? Like, do you guys ever take a moment and like sit back and say, okay, well, hey, like this is what we want to put out this week, or this is the vibe that we're going for with this situation?
I mean, yes, but I also think that it's kind of spontaneous, right? Yeah. So
True.
Yeah.
For example,
It's like both of those things at the same time.
Yeah.
right?
All right.
Like our
There is
zodiac
one thing.
stuff is pretty much, it speaks for itself, right? So that's following a calendar.
If there is one thing that I'll attribute to y'all over like other people in the space, it's like, yes, we are this, but I don't give a fuck. We're gonna be subjective this week, and we're gonna introduce ourselves into it, and whatever people take from it is what they take from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That unapologetic, like, hey, we're gonna talk about whatever the fuck was on our brains that day.
right?
And like we went for it. We tried, like we went for a theme and different things like that, but whatever it came out, it came out.
Right.
And
because sometimes that's what it is. It's like, because there are series that we all watch at the same time that we're into, and it's like, oh, I really want to talk to you about this, and it's like, well, how about we just do it for an episode? And I feel like that's where the authenticity comes from, because it really is. That's just like, it's just us talking.
We're genuinely enjoying what we're watching.
Right.
And,
and we're not pushing the agenda's not the word, but fucking we're not pushing the narrative that, you know, we're all the united front. Like we're pushing more so like, hey, we're all individually
this thing, and we can all have a discussion and have varying points.
But we're not pushing
exactly.
We're not
like
there's so many
a good example of that.
We all felt differently about a show, and
Mm-hmm.
there was times where we were reviewing things, and then somebody dropped it, and then the rest of us kept going.
But no, I was the Shaman King. Like when you guys were watching Shaman King, I could tell who was
love it down, but no,
in the Shaman King, and I also could tell the people who were
I don't blame me. Fuck that show.
old school fans that had dove back into the show, and that was really cool. It was like, okay, well, I see.
Because I watched it when it first aired, and they hadn't. And so I was interested to see what the remake was, and it was cute, but it was also really forgettable.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Nothing special.
No, I'm 1,000% with you there, and I love that. That was really what made me fall in love with the show, was during that time frame, because like I got in kind of late. Like I know you guys have been making hella content, things like that. I mean, I am catching up. Like I've been listening to the backlog episodes and shit, but like that's where I really started like, okay, well, this is where I'm gonna like get on and start downloading the episodes and shit. And I really enjoyed like the kind of the breakdown process that you guys had. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I love that they're all different opinions. Some people are like, yo, I didn't even fuck with it, I dropped it. And I'm like, that's fucking dope, because so many content creators would get on and immediately,
and so many would lie about
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
I love it. He's so cool. He's my favorite.
And all they did was like hit a wiki page, like
yeah, but no, we were actually watching it. I think the last 3 episodes of the season we all watched multiple times. And, was like,
and we kept so we kept watching it over and over again, and it got to the point where I was like, yo, if I watch this shit one more time, I'm about to lose my mind. Not watching this shit anymore.
Well, also another good example, I think the greatest example of us not being like a fake cohesive unit is y'all like Platinum Man. I can't fucking stand it.
I'm sorry.
And we talked about that.
Because me and Ty was following Platinum and until its very end. And I was talking about that shit from the beginning of us even creating content. I was reading the manga. I was like, watch it when it comes out. I was fucking following it. And then when it finally came out, Farris was like, I hate this shit. I hate it. And I'm like, there's nothing to hate. There's
plenty to hate.
Keep it going.
That's how me and this nigga are about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and fucking One Piece. Like,
wait, JoJo hater.
This nigga will not sit down and watch JoJo, and I refuse to
watch
sit down and watch One Piece.
What?
And one day,
both of those is good.
Wait.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
I don't come in about this shit.
I need to ask
this shit. I will recognize JoJo as an important cultural phenomenon.
It's one of the greatest shows of all time.
It's one of the greatest.
Recognize JoJo as the progenitor of a lot of shit.
I need to know this.
Progenitor or not, it's one of the greatest shows of.
What is your favorite arc? What is your favorite JoJo?
Okay.
Part 4.
Part 4 is my.
Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yes.
Diamond is Unbreakable is my personal.
Yes. okay, that's my favorite one.
That's my favorite art.
Josuke is Prince incarnate, and he don't give a fuck about shit.
No.
He's just trying to do
He
his
goes
thing and live
down,
his fucking
too.
life. They beat Kira's ass on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm not mad at it. I'm
not mad.
But this nigga's like, why you want me to watch Why you want me to watch JoJo if you're not gonna watch One Piece? I'm like, man, fuck One Piece.
So
But
don't do that.
You about to make the One Piece fans mad?
This nigga doesn't like One Piece.
I feel like people who don't like One Piece, they're just lazy. They don't want to actually
asking me for
put in the effort of watching.
Hold on.
Remember
I feel like
dub. Remember how bad the 4Kids dub was.
That's what I was about to say. The 4Kids dub ruined One Piece for me.
4Kids
so
or not.
I have
no.
I have PTSD from the 4Kids dub because I was reading Naruto and One Piece and other shit in Shonen Jump, and then I found out that it was getting an anime, and I was like, let me watch it. I watched it. I was like, this is fucking ass.
I need to watch One Piece. I haven't even started.
I want to.
I'm not finna start this shit. Fuck you. I'm not finna sit.
One Piece. I got as far as probably like Alabaster arc, and then I was like, I stopped. But I was reading.
Right.
And I think that's like book 40 something.
Right. I acknowledge that it's probably good. I just don't have years.
It's the best world building in anime, period.
I don't know about that because
Ichiro Oda has crafted.
I feel like there's places in JoJo's that I like to jump in. I like Stone Ocean a lot. I like Golden Wind a lot.
Golden Wind is great.
But I can respect the lore and the world building of JoJo. But like, there's a lot of it I also like just don't fuck with. And that's not to say that it's bad. It's just to say that I don't fuck with it.
Very fair. I think there are certain parts of part 3 where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if y'all niggas really needed to do that. But
right. No, because part 3 was doing too much. They was feeding doodle to the baby.
You know what I mean?
Didn't somebody get raped by a monkey?
Nobody got raped by no fucking monkey.
No, is that a lie?
No.
That was the fucking.
This is what happened.
Nobody got
some girl
raped
was
by
taking
the
a
monkey.
shower. Some little girl was taking a shower, and the big old orangutan was just peeping through, like on some real sicko mode type shit. It was just like, like breathing. I'm like,
we had a freaky orangutan, and we handled it. Nigga.
Yeah,
we handled
Everybody was making it seem like somebody got raped.
Nobody got.
So I apologize.
I have a very, very low tolerance for rape in fucking anime and manga. Very low.
Speaking of rape threshold, hold on.
Speaking of rape.
So I know a question that you wanted to ask was like anime, manga after dark. I think a good start for that would to be like, did you all watch the first episode of Goblin Slayer?
Yes.
That nigga did, yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, Goblin Slayer is a lot of people's dividing line. Some people were just like, absolutely fucking not. What is this? How can I watch this? And other people were like, oh shit, I'm eating this up because this is true trauma. Like, this is
I mean, me and Farris watched that and we both were just like, absolutely the fuck not.
No,
I get you.
No.
And I was going to watch it too, and then they told me.
And we told her not to watch it. And
I'm not doing it.
This is my thing. It's not that I'm against sexual assault as a plot line, though I do think that it's cheap. One of the first essay scenes that I've seen in anime was Fushigi Yugi, when Yui got raped by like some vagabonds, but it turns out that wasn't even true. But at that point, I was like, ooh, 11 years old, and like I was like, it fucked me up, and it was a fade to black. It was a fucking fade to black scene, and that fucked me up. It made me so uncomfortable. No. And for me, even as an adult, to be shown not only a rape scene that wasn't a hentai and that was drawn in a fan servicey way, it felt very disrespectful.
Yeah.
I did not appreciate it. And like, I'm not trying to make it seem like I was triggered or anything like that. And this is the thing.
Even if you were,
if they would have started the episode, and I was
I get
I don't
triggered
think
by
that
that
that's a wrong thing. I don't think that's a bad thing to say. And I think that people misuse that word a lot. But I was triggered. And if the episode, which now it does, I think if you were to go back to watch it on a legit subscription streaming service, it will give you a content warning of sexual assault, which most HBO shows do. Stars, Cinemax, Showtime, fucking SVU on USA when they do their 5-hour fucking marathon block. It's rated TVMA for sexual assault situations and language.
Yeah.
That's, if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't even fucking watch the episode. But the fact that I went in blind and was onslaughted with that, and the fact that they disrespected a woman to the point where not only are we going to show sexual assault, but we're going to do it in a fan servicey way to tantalize people, I have a fucking issue with that.
I agree.
And then it's not even just that. It's like, it's weird because it's like they didn't even stop there. They used the whole rape thing as like a whole plot device.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
the whole point
it's
of these goblins raping women is that that's the only way they can procreate.
Way that they can procreate.
And it's like, it's fucking lazy. It's lazy. It's corny. And it's just like at whose expense? And it's like, I just don't like things like that.
So, I can
not let. And even now, like, I feel like the community is still giving into shit like that. Like, I feel like, what's that shit that we was talking about the other day? What, Emergent or something?
Emergent.
Is getting.
Have y'all read Emergent? And it's allegedly getting a fucking anime.
I always skip anything where I, like, if a nigga tell me that there's any amount of sexual assault in there, except for Berserk, but I was younger. Fucking, I'm like, no, y'all can have that. I'm not gonna fucking.
Yeah, same.
Does that stem from the fucking Ninja Scroll Resurrection situation, or is that like
No.
Oh no, I was the reason I even bring that up is because like one of the first big anime that we ever checked out outside of like things like that. Shout out to Pops. Is that he was just in Blockbuster picking shit up. He was just like, oh yeah, my kid's like anime crazy shit. So he just rented a couple of movies. And I was probably like, this was before my parents' divorce. So
after the divorce, we was on the white.
The white TV. Yeah. So like 12. Like I was like 12 and he was like 11.
Yeah.
There's a anime called Ninja Scroll Resurrection, and it's very crazy. It's like a retelling of.
It's very violent.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a Ninja Scroll movie.
Violent.
Before.
I don't give a fuck about. You can chop as many heads off as you fucking want to.
Do you remember the one that was a retelling of the Jesus story? It was like an allegory for Jesus, and
I don't know about that.
Be very careful.
I didn't read that one. It was mostly like.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Wandering around. He had a woman who was also like a ninja. She had some shit.
That's Jinbei, and he's still a character that gets used in this actual anime. But essentially, it's the retelling of Jesus. But if he doesn't give his life if he doesn't sacrifice himself for the people, then his soul would come back as the incarnate of the devil. Which, cool, regular anime shit. That's what happens. But at the climax of this particular anime, what happens is that the Jesus allegory doesn't give his life because he finds out, doesn't find out, but like a sorcerer tricks him into believing that the ninja took the life of some children. The Jesus character goes crazy, was like, oh no, well, I'm just gonna pray for the power to destroy you. They managed to beat him, but he's all like bloodied. He's got like an arm cut off, a leg cut off, and the sorcerer shows up, cuts off his pinky, and is like, "There's only one true power, and it's fucking sorcery." So he cuts off his pinky. The pinky crawls up his daughter's dress. It goes into some nether regions. This lady proceeds to like have sex with this armless, legless motherfucker, and to spawn Satan, essentially, Satan on Earth. And that shit was wild for a 12-year-old.
That shit fucked me
Yeah,
up.
I imagine.
Crazy.
Yo, he said he got his pinky cut off and then his finger fucked her.
So I think my kid brain switched it because I thought it was an armless and legless woman getting fucked, but I think
Yeah, because the Jesus nigga had long hair. And
okay.
either way, pops.
So I did see that.
Get your $6.99 back. I don't need this. I don't need to see this shit. The fuck is this?
That desensitized me so much to a lot of things.
Nigga. It didn't desensitize this nigga.
Like I said, desensitized me so much that when I saw Goblin Slayer, I was like, oh, and this is gonna sound bad, but as like I'm an avid Dungeons and Dragons player, right? So goblins are a huge enemy. You fight them all the time. They're very like Potter-esque thing, but they're always in such mass number. And so when this show came up with a thought process or an idea behind how goblins could end up procreating so fast and so much, I was like, oh, that's really crazy. That's interesting from that standpoint. And I'll keep it go. I'll keep watching. It absolutely fucked up. It's pretty crazy that I would even be like, this is the mental reason why I was okay with this. But hearing it from a woman's perspective, I was like, damn, maybe I'm too desensitized to a lot of this kind of stuff to where like I didn't even see it like that this would be absolutely disrespectful, because it is in a way disrespectful to a lot of women because they did it in a completely fan servicey way, and that shit glossed over in my brain. It was just like, oh well, this is typical anime crazy shit, like like Junji Ito, like motherfuckers spin. But in all actuality, it wasn't just regular anime crazy shit. It was absolutely in the front to like women that have been through sexual assault. It's kind of wild. I'm so happy to like bring that up in that manner.
Well, and I feel like that's the main thing. Like, if it was a hentai that I specifically sought out for that kind of action, it would feel different. But it was presented as just like
another
a revenge shonen, as another anime, very unassuming.
Yeah,
just called fucking Goblin Slayer. I wasn't expecting to see some shit like that.
Yeah, no,
and and then like the fucking edgelords online was like, oh well, you haven't seen anything yet, and then they're sharing screenshots of like naked women being used as shields and shit like, and I'm like, is this supposed to make me feel fucking better about what the fuck I just witnessed? And I'm not, and this is the thing also, I'm not saying ban it. I'm not telling people not to watch it. I just won't watch it. I've only watched one episode. I don't know what the fuck happens after that, and I don't give a fuck either.
No,
because I don't need to watch some shit like that.
So one thing that bothered me, because Goblin Slayer came out 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it 5 years ago?
It was damn near 5 years ago. So I was coming off of deployment again 5 years ago, and I was stand and watch with a nigga, and a lot of niggas like stand and watch. You basically just have to like be in one place for like 6 hours. And I don't like talking to niggas in that 6 hours. Like I like putting it in and like, I'm living in my life. But I had another young nigga with me. And when I'm with young niggas, I like to talk about like, just young nigga shit. Like, hey, what are you into? What do you like to do? Blah, 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 right? And this nigga started talking about not Demon Slayer, Goblin Slayer in a very uncomfortable way. Like he was talking about it almost as if he was really, really, really into what he was seeing. And I'm like,
and not the story itself.
Right.
Which is supposed to be a revenge tale.
Those edgelord ass niggas.
And nigga, I ain't trying to be with your ass for 6 hours as you fucking talk about how into the scene you were, what you gleaned from that shit.
That's a good one.
And in that moment, I was like, nigga, this type of shit doesn't need to be readily accessible to niggas like me.
No, and it doesn't.
No,
and I make this joke where I say anime wasn't gate kept enough. And it's not it's not to say that I believe in the thought of gatekeeping, but what we have, especially with I think Gen Z, is like and millennials, we have a lot of edgelords, we have a lot of people that are just like picking their heads in and kind of like don't have the say so to do so, if that makes any sense. And it's like
I agree.
People giving their opinions and saying things as though it's factual.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of problematic things are rising because of that.
You got a lot of unempathetic niggas walking around here thinking they should just be able to say whatever the fuck they
want to. Again, they're marginalized. They're like, oh, I'm a weirdo, so obviously everybody's half that.
First of all, nigga, you're not a weirdo by anybody's standards. Nigga, I was a weirdo by stupid standards. You're not even weird like that.
You're not even weird.
No, you're a cis white male and you're going to have a fairly decent life.
Right.
It's not an issue.
You feel empowered by saying shit like this.
Yes. And this is an escape for me. This is something that I can get into just to watch. And for you, it's like, oh no, this is affirming everything that I believe in.
Right.
This is like just like the Boondocks, like you're liking this shit for the weirdest
wrong reason.
No, absolutely. Ladies, fuck me sideways. I've loved this goddamn conversation. Kiss my ass, bro. I say fuck me sideways. What a nigga was saying was is that like I've had a fucking blast talking to you guys. 3 hours and 32 minutes have passed by and I haven't.
I'm flying.
Damn.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, we have been 8.5 hours and I have not felt like this has been dragging on at all.
Not at all.
Thank y'all so much for coming in. Thanks for coming on. What I really liked about y'all was just like right off rip, y'all were like, yo, we should play a game. And I was like, oh, shit, nobody comes in this motherfucker being like, round us out with
Would you like to play a game?
All right.
Hey, watch out, Jigsaw. If you do a whole nerd list thing for Jigsaw, and you come out like a little tiny fucking tricycle in a suit, and you just like by the end it's just pasties and merkins. I'm just like, that's crazy.
I don't know about that.
That's a vibe for sure.
It is a vibe.
I understand you ladies wanted to play a game, and I'm 10 million % down with that. What game are we playing? Marry, Lewd, Kill? What are we playing today?
We are playing Lewd, Rival, Protect.
Ooh.
And befriend.
Yeah, Lewd, Rival, Befriend, Protect. I'm sorry.
So you guys know the general thought process behind this motherfucker is like marry, fuck, kill. It's just in a more so anime like style. They play this game on the show like a few times, and I loved it when they did it. Yeah, I loved when they did it.
It's fun.
I'm excited for this year. So like you ladies of course have already had an opportunity to play this game quite a few times, like how this whole shit works. You want to break it down? Anybody want to break it down for my viewership?
It's pretty simple. It's like lewd. Would you lewd this character? Would you be their rival? Would you befriend them, or would you protect them? So we're gonna name a character from a series. We got a couple series that are pretty popular. We're gonna name some characters from those series, and you would just let us know, would you lewd, rival, befriend, protect, or why?
I bet. So like for y'all, the motherfuckers that like to play these motherfucking games when y'all chilling out and shit.
Yeah, this will be a very fun like drinking game, a con game. Like it's really fun.
A little icebreaker game, if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A group of motherfuckers you hadn't quite met yet. If you want to go and see what the skinny is, you can get a lot. You can glean a lot from this type of game. Yeah, so I'm excited to play. So like ladies, have y'all come up with any characters y'all want to ask us about, or do we start? Okay.
Yeah, we got a little list going.
All right, bet. Are we gonna just mostly be asking us here at the Wellspoken Kentucky these questions, or are we all gonna get a chance?
We're all gonna do it.
Who you got first up? You can ask me. You can ask my bro.
First, let's see. Okay, so first up, we've got Botan from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Ooh, that's a baddie right there.
Would you rival, befriend, or protect?
Okay, so look, with Botan, I would probably protect. I'll probably protect Botan, right? Because I love Botan. She's always been the coolest. She was never the romantic she was never the romantic interest for Yusuke. She was always like very much like, oh yeah, that's my man friend that's gonna tell me whatever the fuck I'm supposed to hear. So yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna protect Botan.
I'm gonna go with I'd rival Botan. Only because like
Okay.
Botan's personality always pissed me off. Because I feel like she always like, why you think like you know everything? Why you think you so great?
Because she's the Grim Reaper.
I don't give a fuck about none of that. Nigga, I'm dead. You don't even want to take me to the spot where everybody else is at?
Nah,
I gotta be a spirit detective. Fuck that. No, I'm rivaling Botan, and I hope I win. I hope I kill.
I'm befriending. She seems cool. What I would say is like, firstly, Yu Yu Hakusho is a very wholesome anime as far as like it doesn't have a lot of fan service.
No,
I'd say the most fan servicey moment we had was in the Dark Tournament where she exposes herself as like a demon and she has like vine whips around her. But other than that, like it's a very all the girls are very conservative for whatever reason. But I feel like she would be a
Dark
good friend.
Tournament announcers though.
Yeah, Jura and the Fox girl were definitely making me feel some things. But also in just to talk about Botan, the most interesting ship that I've seen her in was with Kurama. And I was like,
that looks good to me.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
No, not even.
Y'all work. I fuck with y'all.
Ty, what's your answer for Botan?
I say befriend. We be gal pals. We be kicking
Nobody
it.
wants to fuck Botan. Good for you.
Not even on that level.
Oh, that's the homie.
What about
I feel it's hard. Like I want to befriend her, but I also want to loot her out. Like I feel like I love her.
Damn.
Not loot her out.
Loot her out.
I'm about to slut this nigga out.
I'm gonna
let him out.
Like I want her to be my friend with benefits. Like I just think
okay.
That's my link, not sneaky link, but it's my link. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
exactly. Like that's my bitch. And all types of things.
What you up to?
Like that you said they paired her with Kurama because that's who's next on the list.
Ooh.
I lewd for Kurama. I have nothing else I want from him other than
I'm actually looting Kurama as well. That nigga.
Yeah.
That nigga's hot.
Hold on. Are we looting Suichi? Are we looting Kurama? Or are we looting both?
All of that.
Wait.
Everything.
I am befriending Suichi, and then I am also looting Kurama because like that Fox shit.
Yeah,
like bro's hair goes white.
Not even a thing. I just want Kurama. I don't care about any of that. I don't care what form he takes.
Don't care about none.
Or the redhead nigga, give a fuck.
I feel the same way. I want to be specifically tied up in the vines and feel those thorns and shit. And also, I feel like him and his. I feel like him and his fox form would have like a lot of stamina. And I want to see what that's about.
Yeah, right. What that
Yeah, shout out to the women that are asking for stamina. Like, yo.
Yeah, we fucking
come back with more dick.
Top.
Ty, what about you?
Oh, we fucking. Absolutely.
You and your little story. I don't give a fuck about you and your little mom.
Yeah, I don't care.
Your mom situation.
Whip it out.
Damn, not whip it out. Oh. Nah, I'm definitely befriending that nigga. I feel like we can get a lot of shit done.
Yeah, you feel like
a lot of shit done. Like, all right, bro. Yeah, you got a good idea about that, man. You got a good mind for this.
He's also really smart. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, I'm about that life. Karama, Botan. Good choices. Good right off rip. You know, I'm in love with Yu Hakusho. So like anytime a
Yu
nigga
Hakusho's a good one that I feel like doesn't get talked a lot.
it doesn't. It does not.
Not in the right spaces, no.
Not in the right spaces.
Gotta ask y'all a question, like, because we did a recent battle. It was yeah, fuck you. I'm asking. Like, so yeah,
I'm already exhausted.
We did Yusuke and Yusuke versus Yuji Itadori, and we had a.
I've seen that around. I've seen that around.
Yeah.
I would have to. I don't know.
Just
know. Because I haven't seen.
Man, if you want my honest opinion, not based off of anything that these niggas had said, I think that Yuji versus Yusuke, Yuji can easily outfight Yusuke.
And I was gonna say,
I agree.
Yuji. And I'm gonna say,
I was gonna say Yuji
because Yuji has the Yuji has a regenerative ability,
yeah.
so he can take his L's and come back.
Now, granted, Yusuke kind of has the same shit due to the spirit wave, but I'm also just like, a nigga that can punch hard is not gonna beat a nigga that like knows what the fuck.
Now, will this be Yuji with his Sukuna form also?
Probably.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Yuji.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because Yusuke is of demon descent, which I think was bullshit, but we're not going to get into that.
I think
that'll be for another episode. You know, like given what we have with each character, Yuji evolved way faster than Yusuke. Right. And
that shows me you got way more potential to learn and
exactly. And even though I mean, Yuji is a good boy, so we didn't see him beating up on niggas like Yusuke was. But just because you know how to street ball doesn't, mean that you know how to do anything else.
Yusuke can dislocate his not Yusuke. Yuji can dislocate his fucking hips, nigga. I'm not fighting a nigga that can dislocate his body.
No, I ain't fighting nobody that out of nowhere I see like 4 eyes, 2 arms. Right. Like I'm not. No,
I'm good. I don't know what he can do, but I don't want to be around to find out. So.
I was scared of him off rip. The first thing he said was, "Where the fuck are women at? Where the children at?"
Where the big titty bitches at?
I'm gonna murder.
Wait, did he say big titty bitches? Because if him and Yuji are fighting over like what women they want to fuck, that's extremely funny. Is Sukuna a titty man and Yuji a ass man?
Sukuna is definitely a titty man. He loves
Sukuna is a milker. Look at you.
You're a milker. I didn't mean to just detract from the game.
Right.
That's what we do.
I don't know maybe how we got here. But going back. So our next is Hiei, Yu Hakusho. Are you gonna lewd, rival, befriend, or protect?
All right, yo. So I'm a rival Hiei. Only because I will rival Hiei because my nigga would definitely take me to the higher heights. Like I would rivaling Hiei is saying that I am going to have to undertake a lot of shit to try to be ready for this fight. And so I'm like, yeah, that's an opponent that I would probably make me Zenkai boost for sure.
All right.
I definitely befriend Hiei because I feel like there's a lot of parts of him that he don't understand that I could probably help him figure out. Case in point, like he's a fire nigga, but like your family is like ice niggas, and I feel like there's more in there. Yeah. There's more in there than just what you got. Help him see his potential, and then we gonna rob a bank or some shit.
Yeah, because like you're gonna get him to the point where he can take on Todoroki.
I help him see his potential, and then
right.
Okay.
Look at everything you can do, and see what you can do is what we can do. So
I like both of those answers. Yeah.
This is another idea for verses. We should do Hiei versus Todoroki.
Maybe.
That'd be good.
I can't wait for the shonen niggas to come out.
You already know. It's about to be like some
Todoroki could never. What the fuck you mean? Okay, bro. I get it.
I'm gonna lewd, preferably if I can be Eiffel Towered with Kurama and Hiei. That would be a dream.
Oh, that'd be hot.
Man.
Yeah, I feel like it's not hot
vibe.
unless they're together though, because he by himself doesn't seem like a really good.
I know. I wouldn't fuck him by himself, and I feel like he wouldn't want to do that either. I feel like Karama would have to be involved.
Okay.
Yeah, like
convince the
Seem
squad.
like a good time by himself. So I feel like if you were by themselves, then I would say befriend, just because.
Yeah, I would say befriend too.
If we were by ourselves, I would protect him because I feel like he got the shit end of life, and I want to help him with that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I could fix him.
Yeah, talk about it because Kie does not get enough sympathy for the bullshit thing with her. Like this motherfucker.
No, he doesn't, and I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, he's evil. He's a demon." I'm like, well, he was also fucking ostracized from his fucking mother, thrown off a goddamn cliff.
Like he had
light work, nigga. Anime, nigga.
Like, he's a victim.
He's not even in Texas. Like,
he'll be all right, nigga. Walk that shit.
I just feel like I wouldn't want to protect him just because he seems like he gets into a lot of shit that I don't want no problems with.
Hey yo,
He's also one of those niggas that he feels like he can whoop anybody's ass.
Do it.
You know what?
Like, y'all niggas
like I'll protect my friends, but you're not gonna walk around like you got personal security.
I got this one nigga beat your ass, bruh.
He was dead ass like, yo, we got three people. There's 3 artifacts and they're God tier. We should all just steal them motherfuckers.
And he a city girl. He got plastic surgery because that Jagan eye is not natural.
Yes, he had a BBL kind of. Oh my god. Any other characters to marry Luna?
Yes. We got Sakura Haruno from Naruto.
I'm protecting.
Ooh. Okay. I'm
protecting.
Befriending. I am befriending. I don't want to catch any of these like crazy hands. I don't want to get a Shanaru to a fucking other dimension. Like I'm good. Like if your isekai story is Sakura Haruno punched me in the face.
Punch me.
I don't even want to be in it.
She be laying niggas out.
Yeah, like I mean, like that's literally the replacement for fucking getting hit by a truck in an isekai. Like
instead of trucking, it's Sakura.
I'm gonna say that I would lewd Sakura because I was one of the few niggas that was like, you know what, y'all niggas sleeping on her. She's waiting for the day.
Okay.
She can bring the freak out whenever the fuck she feel like. Y'all niggas not letting her out. Y'all always in a box. Man, let her out.
I agree. I think I would also lose. Like I think she would make a good partner.
And she's very appreciative about it, you know? Like thank you for seeing what I could do, man. Thank you for seeing my
appreciative queen. We stand and appreciate you. Hey, look, when I'm finished and you're just like, oh, that was great. I was like, oh, thank you, baby. I appreciate it.
My dog.
Oh yeah, I'm a Scorpio and my ego needs to be stroked. So when you tell me you got yours 8 times, oh my god, this is fantastic.
That's crazy. I put so much effort into it.
I was trying so hard.
She would be very enthusiastic, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. She's an Aries.
She is an Aries.
Indeed. So she would definitely let you know. Like Sasuke has no confidence issues. It's never been a problem for him.
No,
Sasuke definitely has no confidence.
Which is finally because he probably gives mid dick.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
It's not him being
Look. Yes, we are in a world where motherfuckers can move at the speed of sound, lift giant rocks, teleport to different areas and dimensions. So absolutely,
with one arm.
Absolutely, everybody is laying incredible dick. But what I will say is that if there was ever a nigga that looked like a starfish, it would be Sasuke.
And what about?
Well, that's probably why I ship Naruto Sasu. Like,
yeah, because Naruto seems like he's
taking it.
Yes,
Sasuke's taking it for sure in that relationship.
If he had the mental fortitude, the balls, and indeed to go through that whole final fight and hold back, because Sasuke was legitimately trying to kill my boy.
Right. Like, Naruto was holding back the entire time, but Sasuke was trying to murderize that nigga.
He's trying to murderize my man.
I need you to confirm my ideals, nigga, and die.
Exactly. I'm going to be the Shadow Hokage, and you cannot do anything about it, bro. Please die for me.
That's just please fuck me behavior. But
yes.
Whatever. all means,
It is.
Naruto is confirmed nasty. Let's be that. Let's get that shit straight.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
There's been implication that he used the shadow clones for like self-harm. And if you're willing to use the shadow clones for self-harm, imagine what the fuck you was willing to do for pleasure.
That's
exactly.
That's what we always talk about. Hinata always likes fucking gangbangs because there's no way that she does.
Yeah,
my nigga.
He got all them shadow clones and you not fucking
all them shadow clones, all that chakra.
She heard that nigga. She heard that nigga stole the scroll and was like, "Well, what are you gonna do with that?"
and Naruto's such like the people pleaser. Like, just imagine like a bunch of people running into you and just being like, "You're so beautiful. Your pussy's so tight. You're so beautiful. Your pussy."
Pete.
Yes, line it up.
You can't get mad at us for this shit. Yeah, this is women saying this is I'm
very careful.
We don't even say the P word on the show. Like
oops, I'm sorry.
No. Hey, no. First of all,
it's not a conscious thing. But anyway,
we as two niggas on the phone two niggas talking in general. Saying pussy over and over again is not necessarily like conducive.
Hey, you and me, we can't do that.
Yeah, and I fucking love it. And that's why I think that people should, and as I said way earlier in the pod, is that like you should definitely check out the Anibae's podcast because these are the type of shit you're gonna get. You're gonna get that raw, you're gonna get that real, no plan B, no birth control needed.
We're just raw dogging.
This has been a fantastic episode, ladies. I cannot wait to have you on again, to be on your show, because again, like I said, this is going on 4 hours, and I'm just like, oh my God, not an inch of me has said, not an inch of me, hold on, not a bit of me.
No.
Not it.
Chill.
Not a bit of me has been like, yo, I got to get out of here. I got to find a way up out of this conversation. And I've had a fantastic and incredibly pleasant experience, ladies. I will say, like, we want to wrap it up. What I wanted to get each of y'all's takes, right, on your experiences in collaborating with other creators, right? Has in this field, like as we kind of build and shit like that, collaboration is a huge part of it, right? And so, how do you guys go about picking people to collab with and things like that?
I mean, when we pick, we are still intentional.
Okay.
Like we do like browse the content and stuff. Like we don't want to like be around people who we don't feel like would look well or reflect well.
Okay.
Say.
That's fantastic.
I was going to piggyback off on that. Sorry to interrupt, but I was going to piggyback off on that. And it's like, we would get people, they're like, oh, we would love to hop on and like, do an episode with you guys. And it's like, well, who the fuck are you? One. And two, I feel like majority of the time I get a feeling that if it's like a man, they're going to want to just overtalk the three of us. And, to each his own, but I just kind of feel so territorial and protective in a way where it's like, we can't just let any motherfucker on the fucking show.
Not everybody can just be on this motherfucker.
Niggas are whack. We are
Yeah.
No, and I feel that completely, because as we try to build a brand, like we're trying to be very selective of the people that we have on, and like the individuals that we try to give this platform, even though like, what platform, nigga, like all 30, 40 people that listen, all 200 people that
barely.
Yeah, barely. We're like, we love y'all. We appreciate you motherfuckers as listeners and things like that. And so like when we decide to pick somebody to be on, like we're very selective as well. And so I really wanted to get y'all's opinion. I was like, okay, so like being women, like do y'all find it harder to find motherfuckers that will like decide to sit down and let you actually fucking speak?
I mean, we haven't really tried to reach out with people. We kind of been trying to solidify ourselves as our own to begin with. Even before we started making content, we've had people reach out to us to be on our podcast, which I thought was really weird. And like, I work in the service industry. I'm actually a manager. So that's kind of like the mindset that I have with whatever I do. Even with my burlesque, I look at it as a restaurant, and I'm like, so what would you be bringing that we don't have already? And I'm like, and what experience do you have? And they're like, oh, well, like somebody said, it was like, oh, I'm a man, so that's already different from what you're doing already. And I'm like, well, our whole point is being three messy, horny bitches. So we kind of don't want your input. And that's like,
right.
that's like not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but it's like, we're trying to figure ourselves out. So we kind of don't need anybody right off the cuff who doesn't have their own platform dismantling that. And it's not that we're opposed to working with other people. We are so grateful that you all reached out to us and wanted to work with us. And I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to work with you all. This has been so pleasant and so great. Even just chatting with you all beforehand, I was like, this is going to be such a fun time. But it's just like we want to make sure that we're on the same level of understanding and the same vibe. And that was definitely felt here. And I feel like that's what we would look for going from here on out.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like, I always fear men on podcasts because there's always some bullshit that is
Kevin Samuels type.
Yeah,
like,
like,
let me tell you about high value men and how oh God.
That word, just that sentence, high value men.
High value men.
And I'm not even trying to, and there's high value everybody, nigga. You don't gotta be like a high value. It's like,
exactly.
I mean, if you got a high value woman, what the fuck would you even know what to do with that, nigga?
Exactly.
The fuck you work at Kohl's, nigga. God forbid, nigga, you don't need to tell any woman what the fuck they're doing with anything. So
no, hell no. And so I appreciate that. Absolutely. Like, and I'm so thankful for you guys coming on the show because one thing I want to go ahead and let like everybody knows that these women were not in our inboxes thirsty talking about, oh, we want to get on your show.
To be honest, nobody is.
No.
Damn.
That is true. Nobody is out here like, we gotta get on the well-spoken token. Like, God, press rise.
Do you know who they are? Do you know who he is?
You know who he is?
He's a nobody.
It was just a regular nigga with a microphone and that's it. That's fucking it. And so for us to like, thank you guys for even taking a chance out of your lives to like say, hey, like this is a podcast we can sit down and like, let's try it out. Like, I appreciate that for a great deal of reasons because it shows that, like, hey, at the Well-Spoken Token podcast, we're not out here alienating people and different shit. It's a big stamp for us. And, like, we're so appreciative of that fact because, like, yeah, we're going to eat off this, like, for damn sure. We don't want y'all to, like, I was about to say something wild. I was like, we don't want y'all to, like, like, the way I was going to say it was like, yeah, we don't want to suck our dicks or anything like that. Like, that was... Yeah,
oh, that is wild. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. Right?
We've been talking to a lot of niggas lately, but a lot of niggas out here. Yeah, I know you ain't trying to like meat eat or nothing like that, nigga. But I appreciate you coming through, my nigga.
Yo, and so what I mean by that is that fuck me sideways.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, I know, right? But I had to say it because I was like, I'm not gonna be a never mind ass nigga. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it
out. Yeah, say it.
I meant that in the best way possible. Is that like we don't want first of all to be, like I said earlier, to be given a cookie for like trying to have women on, for trying to have Black women on to give their perspectives in situations like that. Really, the reason I ask these questions is literally just to get your perspective on picking people so that young niggas who listen to the show, people who are trying to build their things, any of our content creator friends that do listen to the show and things like that, I would love for them to have the opportunity to hear a woman's like thought process, or excuse me, a woman-centric show's thought process on how they're picking individuals to collaborate with, right? Because opening these doors and having these avenues where like people who are as great as you guys have more opportunities to speak to these niggas and give like game where they can be, and give this cheat code that a lot of motherfuckers are looking for.
I think they're gonna find. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Who are actually going to lay it out as like as you said, 3 horny women are going to go ahead and give it to you full on straight. and I fuck with that super heavy. Like I've been so thankful for you guys like coming on and being your like full honest selves, whether or not that was like a bit of branding here or there. Like, you know, I'm
you can get off the phone and be like, yeah, I don't never want to talk to them niggas again. Fuck them niggas.
For real.
No.
I think we can all say that we really had fun and we enjoyed it.
We had fun.
It's okay.
And we want to have you on your show and on our shit as well. So we definitely need to link up about that as well.
Even afterwards, like, you know, even if you're just paying lip service, you know, you can be all like, yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah. I don't know what that nigga was talking about with that last shit, but
I mean, we still got the group chat. We can just like
not the GC. No, for sure. I would no. I think I speak for both of us. Like, we would love to actually work in the future, because like I think that it's very important to like create actual fucking not connections, because niggas use that word a lot, but like actually, you know,
build a
relationships, bonds, and bridges
that aren't just fucking based off of like content creation. Like I legitimately fuck with everything that y'all do. I legitimately think that what y'all do is important in the space. It's deeper than just talking about whatever anime came out, you know.
And that's a huge part of why we were like out here like, yo, we have to have these ladies on for damn sure, because during this whole episode, there have been so many moments where we have been called out or like taken to task about some things, and I fucking love that shit, because it's an opportunity to truly learn, to truly like. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is what it's like from that perspective, and I'm so happy somebody gave me that, so that I don't have to keep having these like lame nigga thoughts anymore.
Right. Or just these lame nigga conversations. Thankfully, we haven't had any over the course of the season.
Yeah.
Right. But to just, you know, to have these lame nigga conversations about like, you know what the problem with bitches is? I'm like, ooh, I don't even want to know. I don't
get all these fucking thoughts out
yourself.
Okay.
Like, okay, bro.
No, absolutely. Keep that shit to yourselves, listeners, motherfucker. Like,
what is wrong with the thought? Like, who are you fucking?
Yeah.
That's what I'm always confused about, when people are like, oh, I don't like sluts. Who are you fucking?
Yeah. Right. Like, how did you find somebody to fuck in the first place? This is the type of shit you want to get into. This is the type of fucking honesty you want in a general everyday conversation. You want somebody to come for you when you're fucking wrong. And at the same time, you want somebody to be able to counter you when you have interesting opinions. This is what you want, ladies and gentlemen. Look for girls like this. Look for women like this.
Answer the non-binary homies the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah, answer the non-binary.
Never forget, gender's not fucking real, nigga. You can be whoever the fuck you want to be.
Okay.
No, for real.
Nah, this is a fantastic note right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and try to end it. You know, a little Texas goodbye type situation. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been so happy to be here with you guys again. I told you at the beginning of the pod, I'm gonna tell you at the end of the pod, this is just how I do it, because this is a motherfucking blessing. This is a goddamn happy coincidence. This is a motherfucking I'm just blessed, highly favored, highly metachlorianed out to be here with you. Because a nigga could have been dead, a nigga could have been in jail. You never know. There's just a lot of things and circumstances go on in people's lives. So thank you so much for clicking here. We have the Anibae podcast. Ladies, y'all got anything coming up on the horizon? Anything that's huge that you got to talk about? Surprises, shit y'all want to plug? Just let them know this is y'all's time to go ahead and give it up.
Me and Crimson will be at DreamCon in July.
Oh, y'all have fun. Say hi. Y'all enjoy yourselves. I'm not going. LJ, you going?
Yeah, I think I actually might.
Hey, you enjoy that. You enjoy that. Y'all
yeah.
Okay. Good for y'all.
I have school, so I will miss out. So.
Right. I will elect not to go, but I feel y'all.
It's a lot of it.
Wait, you said you would not like to go?
I have my own personal reservations about certain shit, but yeah.
Okay, they'll go down in the GC because I'm definitely gonna ask about that.
Good for y'all niggas.
And just to follow us and don't be afraid to ask us questions. We're very open, and if there's any, thing that you want to hear us talk about, we're more than likely down to talk about it.
We are open to suggestions.
Don't be
no
weird.
Goku versus anybody. No, I ain't doing that
shit about the verses. Y'all come at us for that shit. Keep it.
No, just specifically Goku. Everybody else is fine.
I don't want to hear it.
We never want to put Goku with any verses. I feel you, because hopefully we ain't got to be doing these verses much longer. So
absolutely,
I'm getting emotionally taxed.
Which was it that I commented both, and then I was like,
about
"Oh,
Spike
that's not
and
the
Wolfwood,"
question.
and I'm like, "Wow,
oh yeah,
ooh wee, ooh wee! Look at what the characters make a nigga do.
Look what anime do. I fucking love this shit, yo. So, thank you guys again. This has been the Well Spoken Token podcast. Again, we have the Anibae's podcast here as well. Go follow them. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. Everywhere that they Twitter, yes, indeed. Link up with them. They got all their respective profiles there. So if you were vibing with Ty very, very specifically, you can go follow her. If you were vibing with Crimson Moon super specifically, you can go follow her. She got her. Like, you don't got to follow the collective, but you should. But if you don't, all of these women have fantastic things that they're participating in. There's so much shit that they've got like to offer you guys. So go out there, soak up this motherfucking game. This has been the Well Spoken Token, and I am out.